Whether you're looking at the Atlantic Monthly or Harvard Business Journal or, of course, my favorite's the New Yorker, they're all phenomenal and people aren't spending a lot of time reading them. It's amazing. Hi, I'm Mark Yarnell. Welcome to my office. I was sitting here reading the New Yorker magazine from this month, February 16th. If you haven't subscribed to the New Yorker, you need to. It's a great magazine. I was thinking how lucky I've been over the last many, many years. Let me put this in perspective for you. In April of 1986, I was a broke minister of a little fledgling church called Hill Country Christian Church in Austin, Texas. I was getting my car repoed. Everything was happening wrong. Why? Because the wealthiest people in my church were going Chapter 11. And so it's not that they quit tithing. It's that they didn't have money to give 10% to the church in any sizable amount. And a guy came to me and he said, "You know, Mark, you've been a great minister of ours, and we'd like to show you something that will help you bail yourself out during this economic crunch." Now, you need to understand something. When you've got your back against the wall, you're getting your car repoed, it's time to start opening your mind to new opportunities. What they were talking about, I'll never forget it, is called leveraged distribution income, LDI for short. I listened to them, I got involved, I helped them find a new minister for the church, and within 11 months, I had a business valued at over $30 million. No experience, no wealthy parents, no college degree, just a simple, humble minister who was caught in the Texas economic crunch. What fascinates me about this month's New Yorker magazine is they're literally talking about the fact that what I faced in April of '86 in Texas was just a tiny microcosm of the global economics. What's going on right now? Let me read you just one paragraph here. Wachovia, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Lehman Brothers, Fannie Mae, and Freddie Mac are all participating. In September, the country plunged into the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression, and the banks that had greased the wheels were at the center of it all. The diagram of moral responsibility looked like an inverted pyramid, with the lion's share belonging to the banks, mortgage lenders, regulators, politicians at the top. Here's what my wife and I were just talking about that's so germane to this discussion with you. Quote, "A Ponzi scheme succeeds only when enough people are willing to put aside common sense and on some level they know they're doing it." Great advice, factual analysis. There I'm in Texas going broke. Within 11 months I have a business evaluated at a gross value of over $30 million. And I'd invested a total of $179 and a little bit of hard work. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't the Texas meltdown. We are in a global economy that's upside down in the trees. Most of you know that. The best minds from business, science, and technology are saying the same thing. You're going to have to do something. Here's my recommendation. In April of '86, I got into leveraged distribution income tied to a proprietary funding vehicle. I've since written best-selling books on the article, on the subject, on articles on the information. I know what I'm talking about after nearly 24 years in this industry. LDI, leveraged distribution income tied to a proprietary funding vehicle. And I'm going to tell you why it is so cotton-picking critical. It's critical because people all over the world need some parachutes right now. Now let's just review for a moment what these people in the New Yorker so adequately point out, just in general terms. I want you to make a common sense decision. The person who introduced you to this information is part of my team. All you've got to do is get back to that man or woman. They'll put you on the phone with me, and we'll go further into details, maybe put you on a virtual tour of our Leveraged Distribution Income Corporation. But for now, here's what I want you to realize. The technology sector wants you tethered to a wireless feed drip of irrelevant minutia, with little, almost like toddlers, needily vying for your attention all day, your favorite five calling you at all times, because the technology sector makes money when you're distracted instead of focused on a task. E-commerce wants you playing one-shooter video games like Grand Theft Auto, because when you're playing video games and doing nothing of significant value, the video sector makes money. The banks want you maxed out to the hilt on your credit cards because the more interest you're paying, the more money they make. The mortgage companies want you upside down in the trees so that they can repossess your car and your home, and especially your home, and they can take that mortgage and they can resell it again at a deflated price. The point is, the pharmaceutical industry wants you taking drugs. That's how they make their money. The lottery corporations want you gambling. That's how they make their money. I want you to use a little bit of common sense and take a look finally at leverage distribution income, because the time is absolutely right now. But you need to know some things. Now, I always ask people 3 questions. Who's your mentor? What's your plan? When are you going to start? If you join our leverage distribution opportunity, I'll be your mentor, as well as the person who introduced you to this information. Get back to them and they'll put you on the phone with me. But there's some criteria that make having a good mentor important. First of all, you want somebody who has made 20, 30, 40, 50, 100,000 a month. In my case, I was fortunate enough to get up over $200,000 a month in leverage distribution income. You've got to have a plan. Hey, we've already got the plan covered. But more important than anything else, you've got to know how to do the due diligence to find the right company. And some of the criteria for company selection are fairly logical, although people don't pay attention to them. So let me just name a few. First, don't pick a company until it's 20 or 25 years old. It doesn't have a stable track record. The first thing is longevity. Has it been around or hasn't it? Secondly, you better have 50 or 60 products. You've got to have proprietary funding vehicles tied to this leverage distribution opportunity. How about media endorsements? You know, the company that we've picked for our final vehicle has had over 150 major media outlets, including Forbes and Fortune and CNN and 2020 and Dateline. They've all said this is a remarkable opportunity or a remarkable company with fantastic, efficacious, proprietary funding vehicles. That's what your friend that put you on this information will tell you about when you call them back. Let me conclude by saying this, and this should make sense to you. The technology sector wants you distracted. Wall Street wants you speculating. E-commerce, that sector, they want you playing video games. Banks want you credit carding and borrowing money that you don't really have to spend. Big oil, they want you spending $3 or $4 a gallon even though it's only worth 50 cents. The lottery corporations want you gambling your retirement away, and Big Pharma wants you on drugs. I want you wealthy. And so does the person who introduced you to this information. We have the perfect leverage distribution opportunity I've ever seen. Now, I paid attention to this in April of '86, and I haven't had a bad day since then. I've traveled the world. I've lived in my dream homes. I don't even know what traffic is anymore, except once a month when I get bored and forget why I do LDI, and I get in my car or truck at 5 p.m. and drive 2 miles in any direction just so I can see what the average person has to cope with, because that's what motivates me now. My life has been perfect since April of '86 because I was in a horrible economy in Texas. I got involved in leverage distribution income tied to a proprietary funding vehicle, and that's what we're asking you to do. I know that whoever sent you to this information will have you on the phone with me soon, right after you've taken a virtual tour of our corporation. Thanks a million for listening, and I can't wait to meet you in person. Now, I've got time, so I'm going to go back and read some more of my new New Yorker. You, have fun.